Hey everybody, welcome back to another 10-minute Marvel video. I put one out earlier today, and now, yeah, you're getting a second one, because the Captain America Brave New World trailer has dropped, and, well, there is a lot to talk about in this, and I'm not going to go deep into it, breaking it down. We're going to do that on the podcast coming up this week. But some of the highlights for this and where I feel like this is potentially going. I think that, well, highlights for it, some things to note. We get to see Red Hulk. That's awesome. And I do think that's going to be Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross as Red Hulk. Obviously, they could be like, no, we're doing something different. But I don't think they're going to do something different because that would annoy a whole bunch of fans. And I think that allows you to keep Harrison Ford around in that role a little bit longer, however you want to keep him. But a couple other interesting things that I kind of like, that I liked a lot about this trailer. First off, Isaiah Bradley from Falcon and the Winter Soldier is back. Carl Lumbly playing him. And Isaiah Bradley is an awesome character. Like, that was the highlight of that show for me, were the Isaiah Bradley scenes and him just talking through kind of the difficulty of it and difficulty of being a black super soldier and experimented on, and just what that looked like and what that was like for him versus the experience that Captain America had and Captain America had then when he came back too. Just talking about that difference I thought was great in the show. So I'm glad to see that character back. And we didn't see it yet, but I do expect to see Eli Bradley show up at some point in time, also from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because we're seeing a number of alums from there. We have Torres as well, who's going to be the new Falcon. We get to see both Falcon and Cap both flying with their wings, and that's awesome. But the big thing I want to talk about, and there's going to be a lot of people talking about the leader and Tim Blake Nelson coming back for that. That's awesome. I love it. But to me, the most interesting part is we gotta see a shot of Tiamat. Tiamat is the Celestial from Eternals who got frozen mid-birth out of Earth into the Indian Ocean because the Eternals wanted to save Earth. And it's not been talked about since then. There's a lot of reasons for that. I think that, ideally this would have come 2 years earlier than it did. If this movie comes out in 2022, after having Falcon and the Winter Soldier in, I believe it was in 2020 or 2021 that came out. I forget precisely when that came out, but we would have seen a much more compressed timeline. Even if Brave New World came out in 2023 and it was early 2021, there's just been so much content between stuff that it makes it seem really spread out. People call it the superhero fatigue. I don't think it's so much fatigue as just the volume of content. People are they're not getting tired of superhero stuff. It is just difficult to keep up with stuff, and then everything seems further apart than it actually is. Anyways, that's a side tangent, but there's been a number of different rumors around Tiamat as to potentially what Tiamat was even transformed into. One of the most common rumors is adamantium. Obviously, we know who uses adamantium. If you don't, it's Wolverine. But are they going to introduce that here? Is this going to be something that plays forward into the X-Men? How does this work with Secret Wars? Everything like that. Those are going to be the big questions I think that we have coming out of this trailer and coming out of this movie in general is how is it going to play into the big picture? But in a lot of ways, I like that it doesn't seem like it's going to do so massively. It's probably going to be like a lot of the first three phase films, which we kind of like to gloss over about them, but most of them dropped an Easter egg or two that wasn't paid off for a long time. Took a while for it to show back up again. It was just towards the end, things got rolling a little bit faster. And then, looking back at it, we were able to see how everything worked together. Now, with the multiverse saga, I do think you need more things to tie in together, but not everything should. And it's okay if something that's mentioned in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or in Captain America Brave New World, I should say, if that doesn't show up again, or if it only matters for that film. Like if Red Hulk doesn't show up again, yes, we're going to have lots of questions about where he is, but if the universe is getting reset with Secret Wars, at least as a soft reboot, that's only 2 years away, 3 years away. So it's not that far. There's going to be plenty of other stuff for us to watch. But I do want to know what they do with Tiamat, because that literally is a giant statue in the ocean. And yeah, it's a little bit hard to miss. So that is one. That was a big Easter egg left there. And that is one that I hope to see more of going forward, and to see how this film uses it, whether or not that continues into the Thunderbolts, or if the Thunderbolts is separate completely, which it's looking more like that. And maybe if this plays out in various things like a Black Panther 3, or even into some X-Men stuff and how that might work. But let me know your thoughts on the trailer. Did you like the action sequences, things like that? Were you excited to see the Red Hulk, have the leader back, all these different things? Do you like how they handled the passing of William Hurt and the transition of Thunderbolt Ross from William Hurt to Harrison Ford? It feels like a callback to Iron Man 2. So I enjoyed that. But let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments section below. And if you enjoy this content, check out some of our other videos that we put out, as well as we have a podcast, same name as this channel, 10 Minute Marvel, where you can find that on, iTunes, YouTube Music, and Spotify, or wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcasts from. But with that, I'll see you next time.